As the monsoons come to an end, nature's varied colors are seen across the landscape and they get ready to welcome the Adi Mata. In various forms, she visits the devotees all across the country. Here we have the temple of the goddess at the top of the hill near village Kinhai. Namaskar. After a long gap, we bring you this episode of Vaasturuchi in English. The 268-year-old Shri Sakhargadnivasini Yamai Devi Temple complex was conserved and the work was completed in 2013. In 2014, it received an international award by none other than UNESCO Asia Pacific Award of Merit. And this was given because it was done in the most scientifically correct, historically appropriate, aesthetically befitting, and in terms of materials appropriate. The conservation work was awarded the Award of Merit for these reasons. The Kinhai village is a neat little hamlet located in the Koregaon Taluka of Satara district. The Sakhargadnivasini Yamai Devi Mandir is on a hill to the northeast of the village. The ancient temple was in need of conservation. Lightning strike, winds, sun, and rain had caused considerable damage that needed repairs. While choosing the Sakhargadnivasini Mandir for the award, attention to original details, style, and material were considered with reference to international standards. Out of the 46 entries received for 98 countries, 5 projects were chosen for the award. Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, Singapore, and the Sakhargadnivasini site from India were places from where the projects won awards. Projects having scientific, educational, and cultural heritage to be handed over to the next generation were picked up. Legend has it that Parshuram Pant Trambak of Kinhai village was a devout follower of Parvati Devi of Aund. After following her for 12 years, she appeared in his dreams and told him that he need not come to Aund anymore and she would follow him to his village Kinhai on one condition. The condition was that he should not turn back. Parshuram Pant started walking towards Kinhai, followed by Yamai Devi. As he reached the hill, he was tired. He sat down and accidentally looked back. Yamai Devi was displeased with this gesture. At the same time, a person in a bullock cart carrying bags of sugar was asked by Yamai Devi what was he carrying. The merchant lied to her, saying that it is salt. As the merchant reached his home in Kinhai, he found out that all his bags were full of salt and not sugar. Trambak Pant and the merchant both realized that it was indeed the Sakhargadnivasini Yamai Devi. They returned to the hill and begged for forbearance. The Yamai Devi granted them the same, and Trambak Pant decided to build a temple over there in the name of Sakhargadnivasini Yamai Devi. There is no written evidence of this story. It is all oral history, and this is the place where the Shri Sakhargadnivasini Yamai Devi temple has been built and revered for so many generations by people from all around Kinhai. The gentle breeze that blows in the precinct of the Yamai Devi Mandir on the hill fills the minds of devotees with spiritual energy. The temple is located in a fortified enclosure built in 1745. Designed in the Yadava style, there are distinct Bahmani influences in the architecture. The 6-bastioned enclosure is entered by a proportionate Nagarkhana. This structure shows a quaint fusion of styles. Bahmani minars are fused with Hindu arches. Delicate stucco work in lime add to the beauty of the Nagarkhana. The Deepmals built in the black basalt stone or Deccan trap soar skywards and are attractions of the temple precinct. The Deepmal, located across the mandap, has elegant peacocks that support the lamp holders. Meditative monkeys are flanked by peacocks. The generous plinths of the Deepmal show amazing proportions along with immaculate aesthetics. The 3-feet wall that encloses the temple precinct has got 6 bastions, and there are these little niches in the walls that face the temple. The images inside the niches are rendered in the folk style and they are very expressive.
The lofty hilltop, though entirely paved, has several trees like mango, shami, peepal, champa, and bale that complete the picture of abundance. The 6 turtles that are carved in stone and punctuate the ambulatory prompt meditation and introspection. The palanquin that makes its rounds on every Tuesday, Navratri days, and Purnima pauses by the turtles, while the north-facing sanctum and its adjacent pavilion are distinctly Yadav period. Stylistically, the timber pavilion is a Peshwa period addition.
Of the temple is a quaint fusion of Bahmani and Yadav architectural styles. Craftsmanship, detail, textures and proportions are very well managed in the architecture of this mandir.
The shikhar has forms of Lord Ganesh, Hanuman, Vishnu and Goddess Durga. Delicately painted floral motifs complement the iconic details as the attention is drawn towards the Sakhargadnivasini Devi in the dark, dimly lit sanctum. This dramatically prompts introspection and inspires a meditative mood.
There are 5 inscriptions in the temple precinct which tell us about the precinct builders and the time when the renovations took place. For example, you have these elephants whose trunks were broken and which were repaired during the conservation work. In 1869, a major renovation work of the temple had taken place, of which we have some inscription. The ownership of the temple precinct is with the Pantapratinidhis of Aun. The Kinhai Kulkarni brothers and sisters took on the responsibility of funding the restoration work of the temple. Dr. Satish Kulkarni, Shrirang Kulkarni, Mrs. Uma Samant and Mukund Kulkarni funded the restoration of this work and took it to its logical conclusion. It was not possible to get contractors at first to do the work here, but Savani Constructions from Mumbai came forward and they completed the work satisfactorily.
Dr. Ayachit, a 7th-generation priest, takes care of all the rituals of worship and its management. Only in cases where unavoidable, new material in the traditional style is used. As the layers of enamel paint were gradually removed, the original beauty and texture of the dressed basalt stone was visible. The various factors and damaged images of the shikhar were restored and repaired to reveal the grace of the original conception. The sanctum was cleaned, several changes made later were reversed or newly restored as needed.
While working with lime, one has to slake the lime, grind it, filter it, add the jaggery and various additives to it to form a kind of mortar that is ready to use. It's a long process, but it has to be done perfectly.
Cracked stone of the Deepmal were dismantled and replaced. While recognizing the intent and the inbuilt values of the creators, an honest attempt to imbibe these values in the conservation work was made. While doing this, the people who visit the temple on a regular basis, the patrons who provide resources for conservation, and the contractors and craftsmen who actually work on it need to understand the details and their intent. It is only after such an exercise of attitude building is complete that the responsibility of handing over the representations of a certain period to future generations is possible.
In conservation work, it is very difficult to set targets and keep track of the money spent or the time spent. Progressively, as you remove things, new details get revealed and new things are seen. You need to test all these things in laboratories and get verification of the same. Using original and authentic material is an important factor, and that needs to be followed till the last detail. Jeernoddhar is an ancient concept in our culture. While renovating temples and bringing them up to date, it is quite natural that the money that flows into temples could be used without considering the sense of detail, the authenticity and the historicity of the temple. The first sacrificial aspect is often the heritage, which should not be. It is very necessary to look at heritage together with the religious aspects and balance the two in heritage conservation at temples.
It is by the grace of the Shri Sakhargadnivasini Yamai Devi that the original beauty of the temple has been restored. Technically, a new landmark was achieved by the conservators. UNESCO's recognition of this feat brought the honors to the effort. Conservation is not the prerogative of large buildings in well-known cities and of the cities.
Across India, there are many such villages that await conservation. Indeed, it is very good that UNESCO has upheld this effort to take up conservation at a small village level. If we change our perspective to include the educational, the historic and the authentic angle towards heritage, it will be much easier to meet the challenge.
India's heritage found in small villages also deserve recognition and acknowledgement on the global platforms. We hope you liked the visit to the temple on the occasion of Navratri. Then don't forget to spread the gospel, to like, to share and to subscribe to Vaasturuchi.